everybody, Eric here from Tattoo Collectibles. Had a week this week. Me and the boys went down to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and we did that whole thing. So stay tuned and check this out. What's in the mail? Okay, before we get started with the North Carolina stuff, which we did have a really good time going down there, we've got this package here this week. This was the only package I got this week, except for one that I can't open on the show because it's a colleague's birthday present. So that one we're not gonna show, but I might show it later. So this one is a neat one. And I got this in honor of us going this last weekend. And this is, I believe, yes, this is a tattoo archive card from Chuck Eldridge. This one is actually from San Pablo Avenue in Berkeley, California. This one is from the mid 80s to early 90s. He made several with different designs on them right there. I'll show you a better picture of that here in a second. Now, on to the main event. We went to Winston-Salem, North Carolina this week, which, in case you didn't catch last week's episode, it is the first meeting of the Tattoo Historical Society. Chuck Eldridge threw it. There was a ton of people there. It was a really great time. Check this out. This is how we got down there. Our journey down there started on a rainy Friday morning, just before sunup. The trip took us through some pretty little East Coast towns, to include Mount Pleasant, home of the Mothman. There was also some lesser known towns as we went along. The 8.5-hour journey was a long one, but it was well worth the trip. And the company wasn't bad either. All right, we are on the first leg of the Tattoo Collectibles road trip. We are here in beautiful wherever the hell, Ohio, and I'm not sure where we're at right now. But we're about 2 hours into the journey. Stick with us. We're gonna get there eventually. We did get there eventually. After stopping for probably what was one of the worst meals and the worst service that I'd ever seen from an IHOP. We drove through West Virginia, and finally ended up in North Carolina in Winston-Salem, where they were putting on the event. Here's a little sample of what we saw there, and what you'll be seeing in upcoming episodes of Tattoo Collectibles. So stay tuned. We did get some really cool footage down there, and I think y'all are going to really enjoy it. Okay, the trip going down there was kind of a trip. But now once we got there, the place was jam-packed, full of collectibles. And I got several, the guys got several this weekend. The thing that I'm finding here recently is we went to the Tuttle 70 in September. And then we went to this Tattoo Historical Society meeting. There was no tattooing taking place at either of these events, which made it feel completely different. When you go to a convention, you rarely meet people. At least the people who aren't working the convention. Those of us who just go to enjoy and walk around. Nobody talks to us. Nobody wants to talk to you. You know, they want you to look at their stuff and move along, maybe buy something, but move along. It just has a feel that it's more of a corporate feel these days with conventions. Where there's no competition here. This is just people showing their collections and selling parts of their collections. And when you have that go on, it feels more like a summer camp for tattoo artists. I got up at 7, I got downstairs, and the place was filled with tattoo people already, talking, telling stories, cutting up, having a good time. And then the event started, which was an awesome event. As weeks roll on, we're going to be showing you more of this. They had several speakers there. Mary Jane Hockey was one of them. She is probably one of my favorite people. She was Bert Grimm's last apprentice, and she's the only person in the world to have a doctorate or a PhD in tattooing. She spoke at 3 o'clock. Charlene Gibbons was there. The Daredevil Tattoo Museum was there. And if you're not familiar with the Daredevil Tattoo Museum, they are in the Bowery, down where it all got started in New York. And they're down there preserving the history, and they put on a great presentation. Chuck Eldridge put on a great presentation as well. Everything we saw down there was awesome. There was a film that they had recently found from Huck Spalding. Scott Boyer put that on. I believe he's from Yellow Beak Press. I didn't film that out of respect for these guys. They're gonna release it. You'll all be able to see it. Definitely get it. Tom DeVita's in it, just kind of hanging out. But it was a great show. So I got several things while I was down there, and I wanted to show you some of these. I was pretty excited about all this. First person I saw there was Dana Collins. He's the poo. I love this guy. He's in Cincinnati. He's got a big museum as well, and he was handing out these coins. I think he only had 50 or 60 of them. On one side it says, "Hey you," and on the other side it says, "Who me." They've got little Sailor Jerry looking designs on them, and it has his information on it too. I thought it was awesome. I felt really lucky to get one. The next guy that came up, he was actually talking to a colleague of mine, and the guy was in a 3-piece suit, dressed to the nines, looked like one of the old school tattoo guys, back in the day. His name is Rambo. Rambo has allegedly has the largest tattoo collection in the world. We bought these from him. They're super cool, and I'll show you pictures of them, but they're little cartoons on one side. You flip them over and they look like mini postcards, but they have the healing instructions on them. I thought these were super neat. So I got a set of those, super cheap. They were like $10. Then I turned around and there's a man with a bunch of everything. But they had these Al Shifley blanks, and Al Shifley was a tattoo artist in Columbus. He was one of the old schoolers. His son went on to do it too. It was Shifley and Sons for a while. But he made these awesome little super light bulldog machines. And this is one of the undrilled frames. Now what we're gonna do with this is I am gonna 3D scan it. And then I'm gonna put it through my 3D printer, and I am going to make some copies. I'm not actually going to build on this one. I think this one is too historical to really build on, especially with it being undrilled. I'd hate to be the guy that drilled it and screwed it up. So I'm gonna make copies of this, and if you want one, shoot me a private message or whatever, and we'll talk about what that'll run you. Okay. Now this, let me tell you, I bought this with something else. I got this with this other little Lyle Tuttle brochure. This was some kind of talk that he did in California, and it's got a bunch of stuff in it. I'll put better pictures of this stuff up. This piece I really didn't even look at. I saw the other piece that was with it and thought, oh, I want that. I paid $100. I got them both. I just saw this one, this Meet Lyle Tuttle presentation that he did in San Francisco. I just saw this brochure this morning on eBay with a starting bid of something like 40, 50 bucks and a buy it now of like $197. I'll put a picture of that up just to show you what I mean on that. But this, I've never seen one of these before. On the front, it says Lyle Tuttle on and off the skin. And when you open it up, the first two things in it is a lucky number 7 necklace that he was selling. But this is the big one right here. That is a Frisco Flyer, put it together yourself kit. I didn't even know he made these. They were $125. Boy, you'd fist fight somebody for $125 1984 one now. But it's marked on there, 1984. Is it 84 or 70? Yep, it's 84. So this magazine had to come out around 1984, 1985. It's a little brochure of the kind of stuff that he was selling. I have not ever seen one of these. I got it from Chuck Eldridge, and on the back it says 10 of 86. I'm not sure if that was October 86 when somebody got it, or if there was only, but it's handwritten. I'm thinking this is number 10 of 86 of them. If anybody out there knows any different, let me know. On the back, he had little skull binding posts and stuff for sale. This magazine, this little tiny magazine, is probably one of my favorite things now. I just thought it was super neat. Like I said, I gave 100 for both of them. Just the brochure I saw for 200 already. I'm gonna go ahead and put an estimate on that book of 200 as well, having never ever seen one. And now I picked up some cards while I was there, some collectible cards. A few of them just from people who were super cool that I wanted to keep in contact with later. Some people are gonna let us come and do interviews with them. And then I got these 3 cards, these 3 business cards while I was there. Love them. One of them is, the top one is a Hardy card from Don Ed Hardy from out in California. It's from the Van Ness Avenue Realistic Studio. The middle one is another Pat Martinook card. I have another piece of Pat Martinook flash that I wanted to display with another card. Unfortunately, I didn't have another card. So Doc Don came to my rescue and had one available, and I bought it from him. Doc Don is from New Orleans. Super nice guy. If you're ever in New Orleans, look him up. He is the poo. I really dig him. And then the other one I got from Buddy Wheeler. That's Charlie Wheeler's son. Tattoo Charlie from Louisville, if somebody out there doesn't know. But this is a Barry Boulevard Tattoo Charlie card. It's probably from the late 70s, early 80s, I'm thinking, just from the addresses and stuff that's on it and the way it's presented. There's no .com number on it yet. There's no check my MySpace or whatever you kids are doing now. There's none of that. It's all old. So we had such a blast down there. He will be doing it again. He expected 30 to 40 people to show up. 200 of us showed up. I met a bunch of people there. Spiderweb was there, just hanging out. Didn't have a booth, just decided to come. Mike Chambers was there. Saw Nate Harmon was there. Saw a bunch of people there that we either know of or know. And like I said, everybody there, they were just there to have a good time. Never heard so many excuse me's and thank yous from a tattoo get-together as I have from this one. It was amazing. We had some great food. We had some great times. I've got a little bit of video to show you on that. As the weeks progress, I'll be showing you these other ones. The Mary Jane Hockey, it runs about 20 minutes, so I'll be releasing that. The CW Eldridge ran about 20, 30 minutes. The Daredevil Museum ran almost 40 minutes. It was a really great presentation about the tattooing in New York. I'll be releasing that one as time goes on. I'm sorry I didn't get to, I know I'm supposed to get one of these out every Sunday, and I do apologize. I was on the road almost all day Sunday, and by the time I got home, I was just wiped. You can probably still tell that my throat's a little scratchy from the weekend. So, hopefully you enjoyed this, and stay tuned because there's definitely going to be more on this historical society. And I set up some interviews with some people who have some museums around us. We'll be doing some more on the road stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't get anybody calling us. We had the number across the back of the car, and I figured, we'd at least get a call from somebody we upset on the way down there. But we didn't get a call from anybody. We just kind of cruised down there and had a good time. So until next time, everybody stay safe and keep collecting. Hey everybody, thanks for watching, and please hit the subscribe button down below and check out these videos. We've worked real hard on these too, and I think if you enjoyed this one, you'll enjoy those too.